of the Lakers-Warriors game last night, Charles Barkley said, yes, he wants the Lakers to trade Russell Westbrook. Take a listen.
It's time for the Lakers to move him. They have taken all his joy out of life in basketball. This guy used to be so exuberant, played with great energy and great emotion. I think the wear and tear mentally last year, starting this year, playing with Patrick Beverley, he's gonna, and the thing is, he gonna get the blame no matter what, because the Lakers ain't a championship contender. I admire Russell Westbrook. They are taking his entire joy out of basketball, and it pisses me off.
I love me some Sir Charles. Shannon, how much truth is there to what Charles Barkley is saying?
Charles knows how this works. When you come in as a major trade acquisition, Charles was traded. He knows how this works. He went to Phoenix, and if he didn't get them to a championship and win the MVP, they would have said it was a. Ask Charles what they said about him in Houston when he would have teamed up with Olajuwon. And I think the last year, maybe either Clyde was there for 1 year and had left, or when he teamed up with Scottie Pippen. Who got to blame, Charles? They ain't blame Olajuwon. Mm-mm. You know how this works because guess what? The Lakers won a championship before Russ got there. They went to the playoffs before Russ got there. He was brought in as a major piece to take them to that next level again. And then what happened? But Russ, his joy, Skip, look, me starting out as a special teams player, It was different than me being the guy. A guy that John L. and the team was counting on, that they're calling plays for me to come in. It's a different mentality. Yeah, Russ can have fun, enjoy and free will and have a good time and yell and scream. But now you got championship expectations, not just triple-double expectations. That is a different mentality. You better believe it. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, Charles Barkley taking a shot at LeBron James. Because absolutely, because we know how he feels about LeBron. He's every once in a while he'll give him a little credit, a little pat him on the back, but he's always taking a shot at him. And he said, "Oh, they blame Russ because he said, well, LeBron wanted him. He quick to holler. LeBron and AD wanted him. Okay, yeah, that happens. You wanted people on your team. They don't get it done. What? That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. He's blaming LeBron for the Lakers. This is the old team, yada, 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 and I get all that. They are. Certain players, LeBron is old. I mean, AD's not even 30 yet, I don't think. If he's probably about 28, 29.
Yep.
They're a fairly young team, with the exception of LeBron, who's still playing extremely well at his age. But I don't know what, all of a sudden, that we don't have expectations for guys. That's what he was, he's the Lakers. If Russ had gone to Orlando, you think anybody would be screaming at Russ or saying anything? If he had gone to somebody, Indiana, nobody got no expectations.
Nope.
That is the Lakers. Championship. You don't see Pacific Division champs, or you don't see Western Conference almost champ. That is what they hang banners. 17, they hang banners and retired numbers. That's what they hang at the crib now. Used to be Staples, or what they hung at the Forum.
Yep.
All that other stuff doesn't matter. And so the expectations of what Russ was going to be and what he has delivered has been a disappointment for Laker Nation and anybody that knows the game of basketball.
Okay. I must admit, I didn't think for a second about LeBron as I was listening to Charles. I went a whole different direction in my head than you did.
Mm-hmm.
I just sat back after his salvo and I said, Lord, have mercy. It was so frustrating to me. I wanted to reach through my TV and grab hold of Charles and just shake him and say, where have you been? What have you been watching?
Exactly.
His attitude was, they got to let him go. They need to go ahead and trade him. To whom? For what? Nobody wants him. Charles is acting like the whole NBA world is sitting on the edge of their seat waiting. Are you going to trade him? We'll take him. Nobody will take him. Nobody wants him unless you will make it worth their while by giving them 2 unprotected first-round picks all the way out in, 27 and 29. 27 and 29? Where have you been, Charles? Because we are forced to watch every dribble of every Laker game because it's a big deal to us because of LeBron James. And I still say every night LeBron plays, there's always something that happens. The dynamic around him is spectacular. But right now, talking about sapping somebody's joy for playing basketball, Charles has it completely upside down. Russ has killed some of LeBron's joy for playing basketball.
Yes.
Definitely has killed a lot of AD's joy for playing basketball. You can just see it in their body
And he
language.
definitely robbed Laker Nation of their joy of watching the game.
Basketball. It's hard to watch because he's a nightmare of a disaster, of a debacle, of a turnover machine. He never was anything but a solo act of a stat machine. All he cares about are stats, but unfortunately, there's a fourth line in the stats called turnovers, and it's abominable what he does on a nightly basis, even last night with 4. We were coming in every morning post-Lakers last year and putting together a Russell Westbrook turnover blooper reel. And it was, we'd put clown music under it because it was funny. It was so bad. It was so bad it was funny. And did Charles not watch those games? Maybe not. He's got other games that he has to keep his eyes on. I don't know. But this was so wrong-headed because Russ is the problem. And you can't, now we have this outpouring of sympathy from ex-players. Even Reggie Miller last night on the broadcast is trying to telecast is trying to defend him.
And UCLA homeboy.
What's that?
That's a UCLA brother homeboy.
Okay,
we got to ride this thing out together.
Yeah, and Reggie said he now lives in L.A., so he's bombarded by the talk radio. Maybe he watches us, maybe he watches, who knows. But the point is, we're going to get to this in a couple of minutes here on the show, but even Kevin Durant is now defending Russell Westbrook and said the criticism of him has gone toxic. Well, no, it hasn't. He's toxic. He's impossible to win with. He's impossible to rise above.
Kevin should know.
Yeah. Well, that's the irony. That's
Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait till we get to that one.
Can't wait until we get to that one. But for Charles to say this it's so off base because it's so uninformed about what's really going on here. And I get it that he respects and honors what Russ does because we always did. Nobody plays harder, but he's playing hard for his stats because he realized, wait a second, if I fight for loose ball rebounds, I could maybe get 10 a game. Right. And he's capable. He's got great shoulders. He's got natural strength.
Yeah, he's one of the few guards that lined up on the free throw line. I mean, you don't see very many guards. I mean, Magic was 6'9", but you don't see Steph. You don't see Chris Paul at the free throw line trying to get rebounds.
The greatest 6'3" rebounder I ever saw was Fat Lever. Denver. But Russ is beyond Fat Lever because Fat was kind of slender. Right. And Russ has got those great football shoulders, and he is in attack mode going after the basketball. Well, it helps the team some, but it helps his stats even more. Correct. Okay? So when he plays so wild, so out of control, if Charles had watched our blooper tapes, we concluded these are the worst pair of hands we've ever seen on any point guard at any level. Right. Because once it gets in his hands and he starts playing out of control, you talk about cringeworthy because you just know it's going the wrong place.
Skip, let's take our sport. The Rams, they just signed Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson's not the reason why Matthew Stafford throwing all those interceptions, they lose it. But what are they saying about Allen Robinson? You sign a baseball player, you give him $300 million, and he don't come through. What are they going to say? That's just the way it works, Charles. You know this. Charles is trying to make it seem like when you're a great player and you change teams and the expectation is championship, you can't blame said player. That's always the way it's been, Charles. Name a time that someone hasn't signed a great player and player has gone there and they didn't deliver. What do they say? Charles making it seem like, oh, man, y'all criticizing this man for no reason. No, we're not. It is with reason that we're criticizing him because the expectations. He didn't get criticized because he didn't have expectations in Washington. Okay. And once Kevin Durant left OKC, he didn't have expectations. But when you come out here and you play into the crib in front of Laker Nation, you best believe they're going to have expectations and they don't feel that he's delivered. They won a championship. You can say it was in the bubble. You can say they went to hell, but they won it. And they brought him, and they went to the playoffs without him. He gets here, and they 20, 30 games under 500.
Yep. He was the single worst three-point shooter in all of basketball last year. He was the fourth worst free throw shooter in all of basketball. He's the starting point guard opposite LeBron James at the 2. I guess he's at the 2. They sort of co-ones. But for the Los Angeles Lakers on the biggest stage in the sport.
Right.
Well, it got so bad at the Crypt last year that when Russ would start to shoot a corner three, it's like, no! Mm-hmm. And by the way, I failed to show the one last night, but early in the third quarter, if we have it handy, you might have to reach for it here, but he airballed from the corner, and this is just classic. This is...
I call Braun because why you love you should have passed. Look,
okay,
what is that?
That missed.
What is that?
That was 3 feet long. That's so bad. This is your starting point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, and God, it's so bad. But we live with this on a daily, nightly basis.
Okay, so all we saw the guy shoot an air ball. Man, that was a terrible shot. Oh, what do you know? You ain't played basketball. Bro, he shot an air ball. He missed the rim by 4 feet. What is that to know? A 6-year-old can say, man, that was a terrible shot. But I guess us pointing it out is the problem, Skip. It's not that Russ is playing bad. It's the mere fact that we're pointing it out that he's playing bad. He's playing bad.
So are we supposed to back off? The worse it gets, the quieter we should get? We just react to what we see.
That's it. It's as simple as that.
Right.
You know what? Russ could play better. And guess what? It'll all go away.
And as you keep pointing out, again and again and again last year, he had opportunities when LeBron's out or LeBron and AD are out, okay? If you are a slam dunk, first ballot Hall of Famer, show us.
Right.
Do it. I can't say anything if you show us. Right. I'd say, way to go, Russ.
Right. Do what you did in OKC.
Yeah.
Do what you did when Bradley Beal went out in Washington. Do that. That was your opportunity. And then what'd he do? Because you know what? Because the expectations were different. Even though AD and LeBron out, this is the Lakers. So if you don't win in Washington, you don't win in OKC, oh well. Hey, that's the only show. No. It don't work like that for LA. Trust me, I know.
It got so bad last night, and I forgot to ask for this tape. Remember, Russ had one, I think it was a turnover. We went out of bounds, and as Golden State tried to throw the ball in bounds, he tries to come from behind out of bounds to knock the ball out, and he gets a technical foul.
Yes.
Because you can't.